Deadites on deck with evil dead chick. What's in store when you open the door? Step inside, my little ones. Bring your flashlight and good luck control. Oh, and good luck controls. Oh. Might get dark. It might get scary. Maybe even a little insane. Crawl out from under the bed. Don't be afraid. Evil Dead Chick is here to entertain and thrill. Deadites on deck with Evil Dead Chick. Let's hang out till the sun comes up. Watching movies, Evil Dead Chick, and the gang, funny, strange, hysterical, or just plain bang bad. This weekend just got amazing. It's a watch-along weekend. Horror and sci-fi, comedy and more. We got it all this weekend. This weekend just got amazing. It's a watch-along weekend. Horror and sci-fi, comedy and more. We got it all this weekend.
Hey, gang. Hey, Gory Tiger. And welcome to yet another watch along weekend film. Tonight, we will be watching just one of the guys. This is going to be, again, the last Sunday watch along offering. Unless you guys and gals let me know otherwise. If you start clamoring for Sunday watch alongs, by golly, I will do them again. But it has become apparent to me that they're just not popular on Sundays. So unless something changes from here on out, when I do watch along weekends, the movie will only be on Saturday. But we're going to be watching just one of the guys from 1985 here in just a few minutes. I do have a link in the chat for those of you that don't own a copy of it to watch. You can watch it on Tubi. I have the Columbia Pictures Blu-ray that I'm going to be watching along on. And I'll be telling you guys where I'm queued up to here in just a few minutes. But we want to get a few housekeeping things out of the way first, and then we're going to get to the movie. I do have another one of my shirts that I designed. This is a Last Drive-In shirt. I don't know if y'all can see Ernie on there, but he is over there by Darcy. These are going to be available soon on the Deadites on Deck car shop website at deaditesondeck.com. Be sure to tell them Poe sent you. I've got several designs. Those of you that are my friend on Facebook have seen those up where I have said, hey, this is the stuff that I have been working on. And hopefully I'll be able to have these designs up on the site here soon. But I wanted to let you guys and gals know about these. right now. Again, the site is deaditesondeck.com. If you are not a horror fan, or even if you are a horror fan and you're like, gee, Dana, I don't see what the design that I want. There is a form on the homepage of the shop site where you can tell me what it is your little heart so desires, and I will try my best to make that a reality for you. Also, if you are not a horror fan at all, or maybe you are and you've started a new horror related business, or it's a non horror business, it doesn't matter. Or you got friends or family members that need a logo design to put on shirts and hats and tote bags and mouth pads and what have you. That handy dandy little form on the homepage of the shop site, you can use that there as well. And if you buy this stuff in bulk, I will cut you a deal on that. So just keep in mind, I do custom work. I can also put you and your significant other, your kids, your grandkids, your pets, whatever. There's only two things I won't do, and that's pornography and anything that is illegal. Like, I'm not going to make shirts that say I sell drugs to your children, or something like that. I'm just not. My morality would not allow me to make a shirt like that. But some people will probably think, well, Dana, you make horror shirts, and some of those can be pretty gory. Yeah, but again, we're not talking about anything illegal. Okay. So just keep all of that in mind. Again, the site is deaditesondeck.com. Okay. And if you know somebody that also might be interested in getting some products from me, or having me quote them a price on products, send them my way. Again, deaditesondeck.com. And people were probably saying, well, boy, dang, you're laying on a little thick, aren't you? Well, number one, I'm proud of my work. I'm proud of my hard work that I'm putting into this stuff. And truth be told, I wouldn't be a human being if I didn't tell you guys that as much as I like designing this stuff, I would also love to be getting a little compensation for it. So that is why I've been just, trying to promote myself, trying to put myself out there. Okay. So we got a whole lineup of stuff coming up this weekend, or not this weekend, this week and into the weekend. And also, me and Steve's wedding anniversary is August 2nd, Saturday, August 2nd. So, but I've got something else special going on that night, which I'm going to get to. But we should have more celluloid trash. We're going to have another horror fandom. It's a way of life, talking about horror collecting. Hopefully I can have Chris back on here with me for that. Another cannon fodder on Wednesday. Another They're All Messed Up on Thursday. Friday will be another Evil Dead Chick Slasher Fest. And it's going to be bad movie night at the drive-in, folks. And we're going to be watching Drive-In Massacre and Blood Cult. Neither one of these are good movies, but are they fun movies? Yes. In my opinion, I think they are. And on Saturday, we're not having watch along weekend, but we're still having a watch along. As many of you have heard, unfortunately, Ozzy Osbourne passed away this past week. And I want to pay tribute to Ozzy, and also have a really cool watch along that Ozzy, for a movie that Ozzy was a part of back in 1986. And that movie is Trick or Treat. And also, I want everybody to join me that wants to join me. I want to have as many people live on the stream as I can get. And we're going to, give Ozzy a great send-off and show our appreciation for one, in my opinion, one of the greatest rock performers ever. And it's just a shame that I didn't when the guy was still alive, listen to more of his music. But what I did listen to, I did really enjoy and has seen performances, not live performances, mind you. Some people were lucky enough to get to see him in concert. And for that, I'm a little bit jealous because I never got to do that. Never got to experience that. But if people want to come on here and talk about some of seeing Ozzy live, even if you got to meet Ozzy, even better, share those stories. We're going to be sharing all of that. Feel free to even, share the emotional side to all of this stuff and how all of this has made you feel. I'm not a counselor or anything, but we can all talk about it together. We can talk about the happy times. We can talk about the sad times, including the recent death of Ozzy. Yes, Justin, this does have Clayton Roner. I'm never sure how to pronounce his name. And Deborah Goodrich from April Fool's Day. Yes, it most certainly does. Thank you for bringing that up because I may have forgotten about that. But in any event, Saturday, August 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to start the Ozzy Tribute and the Trick or Treat Watch Along. So I hope to have a whole slew of people in here, whether you're in the chat or you're live on the stream with me. I just want to have everybody in here that we can get in here and celebrate Ozzy's life, his career, and watch a really cool horror movie from 1986, Trick or Treat. I guess you could say starring. I think they said special guest, Ozzy Osbourne. And also Gene Simmons as Nuke, the DJ. You got all of that coming up this week and into the weekend. Now, I'm going to do my little spiel here about how you can support me and the channel. And there are several ways that you can do so, and it doesn't cost you a dime, folks. It doesn't include joining the channel, right? One of the big ways that you can help me out is by subscribing to the channel. If you've not already subscribed, don't wait, don't delay. I'm not going to come to your house if you subscribe and try to sell you anything. I'm not going to bother you. If you subscribe, probably nobody else will know but you and whoever you tell. If you tell me, I know. But if you don't tell me, chances are I won't know at all. Okay? So you can stay subscribed for 100 million years, or as long as we're on this planet and as long as there's a YouTube, and nobody will be the wiser. So if you're liking the content I'm putting out, and especially if you're loving the content I'm putting out, why haven't you subscribed, folks? Okay. My next milestone is to get to 1,000 subscribers. And I'm on my way. I've got 953 subscribers right now. Some people might not think 1,000 subscribers is a milestone, but to me it is, because I feel like, I'm proud of the fact that I built my channel from the ground up. Some people may beg to differ with me, but I don't feel like I've made my channel on the backs of anybody else or on the coattails of anybody else. I've had some slips and slides along the way, but I always managed to be able to build myself back up. So 1,000 subscribers is indeed a milestone for me. And if I can get to 1,000 subscribers, me and Candace are going to do some really cool cosplay for you guys and gals. More than likely be on a Friday Foolish. I am going to be Cheryl from The Evil Dead, and Candace is going to be Mrs. Roper from Three's Company. So if you want to see us do that, let's help me get to 1,000 subscribers on Deadites on Deck. Okay. Another way that you can do you can support me in the channel is by hitting the notification bell. So you don't miss any of the content I'm putting out. Also, you can hit the like button for any of these streams or videos that you particularly were fond of, or you thought, hey, that's a really novel idea, or that was a really good stream that Dana did. And I just want to support it by giving it a like. Okay. In addition, you can give super chats, you can give super stickers, you can join the channel, you can join my Patreon. You can do all of those things, but I always like to highlight the things that you can do that will help me get up in the algorithms of YouTube, and it won't cost you anything. Okay. Those things where you pay, you get a few extra perks, but the free stuff helps me too, folks. It helps me more than you could ever know. All right. So, movie roulette is in full effect tonight during this or any other live streams I do. Watch alongs are included, folks. How do you play movie roulette? Well, it's simple. Give a $5 or more super chat during any of these live streams, and you can pick any movie of your choosing for me to watch and do a review of for an upcoming episode of movie roulette. Okay. All right. And I think we're about ready to start this movie, folks. So I am queued up to the Columbia Pictures logo. It actually says Columbia Pictures on there. I'm 16 seconds in on my Blu-ray. And I'm going to try this again tonight. Nobody took me up on it last night. But I am going to be brave, and I'm going to put the link to join me live on the stream in case, any of you are so inclined to do that. Now, I will preface that by saying that if I don't know you, if you're a new person in here, please, you're going to have to tell me a little something about yourself so that I can get a feel for if you're going to come on here and do something nefarious. Because if you do that, and I am gracious enough to let you on, you will not be asked back. So keep that in mind. I'm not trying to be mean and nasty. It's just that, you got to keep your clothes on here. You can't be showing certain body parts. You can't be abusing me or anybody else in the chat or anybody else that may be on the live stream. So I have to put that out there, folks. So if I do know you and you just say, you come on backstage, then I'm just going to automatically let you on. But for those of you that I don't know, don't be upset if I don't just hop to it. And as soon as I see you backstage and you don't give me any explanation of who you are or anything about yourself. Because nefarious things have happened backstage. And I thank the good Lord up above, I didn't let that person on the stream where they could have done that in front of everybody. So anyway, I'll move on from that. And it seems like every time I talk about stuff like that, I lose a bunch of people. So I apologize if that ruffles your feathers, but that's just the way it is. And Poe and Jallo Steve should be joining me tonight at various parts of the watch along. So be on the lookout for them.
Love this movie.
Poe. Poe loves every movie that I do a watch along for.
Are we watching this movie again?
Well, because people voted it in, Steve. So I can't get the real Steve to come on here with me for any of these. So sometimes I have to have Jallo Steve on here. All right. So let's get ready. Even though I don't have anybody in here now, I was trying to be sensible and talk about certain things, and sometimes people go away, but I'm not going to let it ruffle my feathers, and I'm going to go on and continue with this watch along. And if people remain, they remain. If they don't, they don't. But remember, you guys voted this one in, so it would behoove people to watch it. And keep in mind, this is going to be the last Sunday watch along. Okay, unless something changes. So here we go. Let's do the countdown and let's get started. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Press play, and we're off and running. This wonderful movie. And whatever happened to Joyce Heiser? Does anybody know what happened to Joyce Heiser? She's the very attractive female playing Terry in the movie. This is the movie I remember seeing her in. I don't recall seeing her in anything else. I'm not saying she wasn't. I'm just saying I don't recall seeing her in anything else.
Ooh, sexy chick alert, Dana.
Yes, Jello Steve. That is correct. And Billy Jacoby is on this film too, playing, and William Zabka. Billy Jacoby is playing Terry's brother there. Plays her brother, Buddy. Sherilyn Fenn, Deborah Goodrich is in this. Clayton Ronner. Deborah Goodrich. And William Zabka, that I mentioned a little bit earlier, was notorious for, he got, I guess, a reputation for playing jerks in these 80s teen films. But I've seen interviews with William Zabka, and he's a really nice guy. And that's Tony Hudson, the blonde there, playing Terry's friend. And this is directed by a woman. Lisa Gottlieb directed this film. I always think it's interesting that, you know, essentially a teen comedy. This is not as much of a teen sex comedy as I've seen some of them be. But it's always interesting that when women direct movies that kind of, you know, so in some cases flash a lot of female nudity, and some horror films, for instance, the Slumber Party Massacre films, are directed by women. Justin, you say you find it funny that Joyce Heiser blames chauvinism, dresses as a guy, and she's still in. I figure you're finishing your thought there, Justin. If you put more on there, I'll read that off. So, you know, Terry here, even though I like the character of Terry throughout the film, she seems a little self-absorbed and you know, just into looks and stuff like that. And she comes into her own here throughout the film, and we're going to see, for those of you that are watching along, how she changes through the course of the film and the events that happen to her. seems to be a little superficial here too. But she's still, though, even at this stage, she's a likable character that you can still get behind. Now, the high school I went to did not allow you to go off site to have lunch. But apparently these kids do. Did anybody go to a high school where you could go off site for lunch? Billy Jacoby's character of Buddy is a total horn dog on this movie too. Oh, I would disagree, Justin, on that. I mean, you're fully entitled to your own opinion that you think she's a bad writer. I mean, if you're talking about the initial thing that she turns in, I don't think it's bad writing. It's just not very descriptive. It's a little flat. But by the time she writes the article about dressing as a guy and all that stuff and what that experience was like, I think she truly has come into her own. I don't think it's bad writing at all. It's just a newbie writing. And you're going to make mistakes. And she's so sure that it's because she's a female that they're not taking her seriously. But that point is kind of dashed all to hell by near the end of the film, when she goes to a different school. She dresses as a guy, and still her writing is she doesn't write with emotion. It's just, like I said, it's flat. It's not bad, it's flat. She's not putting enough of herself in the writing, and she does not do that until the very end, when she writes the article about her experience going to a different school and dressing as a guy. So she's saying here, she's very upset that her submission wasn't one that got picked. And she sees that her teacher has marked hers as good. And she hears this conversation between her teacher and another teacher, and she hears herself being talked about. And her teacher says, hey, you better be careful, you could lose your job. And he says that be worth it. And he's laughing, and then he sees Terry. And this is Mr. Rainmaker, by the way. And he tells her, he says, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not outstanding work. But Terry is not looking at it objectively. She's looking at it as, this is my writing, this is my child, and you're crapping all over my child. What she's given is statistics and things like that, instead of putting herself into it. But I do think Mr. Rainmaker's being quite hard on her here. And he comes into his own too by the end of the film, and he apologizes to Terry for misjudging her. And this is sexist. This is sexist all over the place. telling her, hey, you're a pretty girl, Terry. Maybe go be a model. Um, no, that is not the thing you should say to a girl, even if she is attractive. Now we're back to Buddy with the Playboys all over his room. And Buddy is the perfect example of the red blooded, horny American male. He's only interested in getting off at any expense. I would have to agree with Buddy there. What he says about Terry's boyfriend, he says, "What a waste of a sports car." So Kevin, her boyfriend, um, is only interested in getting his jollies. And that's another thing that pisses her off here. She is a very attractive girl, but there's there's more to her. She's not one dimensional. Yes, you're right, Justin. Lee McCloskey from Inferno is also um, shows up in here. And Terry even says, "I don't care how much reporters make. It's just been a dream of hers to be a reporter ever since she was small." No, she would rather not spend the night at the frat house, Kevin. And then she comes into her brother's room. She says, "All men care about is sex." And she says, "Your room is why my life is totally screwed up," which is a very accurate statement. Hey, Batman. What young teenage red blooded American male wouldn't want to plaster his walls with Playboy centerfolds? I mean, my brother probably would have done it if he could have, but I bet you he's going to have to take all those down before his parents come home. Oh, well, that's okay, Justin, but thank you for saying it now. Now, see, this is where she's got it wrong. She does have it wrong. Um, she says that I bet if a guy submitted the same article, that she would have that. If she was a he, he would have that opportunity to write for the Sun Tribune. So Terry's very awkwardly trying to dress as a guy and try to fool her brother. And he's telling her she's brain damaged. And he says, if somebody was paying attention, Terry, they would know that you weren't a guy. That's right, Batman. All balls itch. Yeah, so Betty is showing Terry how men uh, walk and how they stand, um, and now he's saying, "Let me see you scratch your balls." So I'm glad I never had to watch a guy do. I don't think I've ever had to watch a guy do that. Thankfully, and definitely not do that. She stuffs socks in her pants, and he's like, "Shit, maybe I should try that." Got a problem? You get and drag. Um, I mean, there are some movies that I've watched and some movies that I've done watch alongs for that I say honestly wouldn't get made today, but I think this one maybe could get made today. So here's Terry. Terry went so far as to cut her hair. What do you think, guys? Or gals? Does Terry look like a guy? And there's William Zabka back there being his jerky sound. That one guy on the right, though, looks like he should have been out of high school about 5 or 6 years ago. There's Clayton Ronner there, who Justin did mention earlier that both Clayton Ronner and Deborah Goodrich were both in the immortal April Fool's Day. These guys evidently want people to believe they're aliens from outer space. And also, Stu Charno is on here too. For those of you that remember Stu Charno as Ted from Friday the 13th Part 2. He's Sherpio or whatever his last name is. He's the guy with all the reptiles. And we're seeing that Terry is in a bit having a little quandary here because she's dressed as a guy, so therefore she has to go to the men's bathroom, and she's really got to go to the bathroom bad. Yes, that he was also one of the bully kids from Christine as well. That is correct, that man. And there's a written on the graffiti, some of the graffiti written on the bathroom stall. Gottlieb rules. That's evidently something to reference the director, Lisa Gottlieb. Oh, another stumbling block for Terry to get over. She's going to have PE class, and she's stuck in a boys' locker room. So Terry thought that the bullies were going to get her, um, but she was relieved to know they were going to get the other new guy. Justin, are you asking me if I've done a watch along for Humongous? If so, no, I have not. I don't even think I own that movie, but I think Steve does, and I think we've watched it before, but it's been a while. So Terry set off the fire alarm to get everybody out of the locker room so that she can get changed. And the coach is saying, take only essential items, and he's taking all his bowling trophies and stuff. Shervico, yeah. He says, no creatures in my gym class. So they're playing shirts and skins basketball, and Terry, of course, does not want to take her shirt off. Hey, Uncle Bill. I'm surprised you're in here for this one. Usually you don't come to the comedy ones, but I'm glad to see you in here. Okay, so here we're saying that, you know, Terry thinking that if she dressed as a guy and went to a different school, that they would accept her writing for the Sun Tribune. And she's disappointed to learn that no, it doesn't make a difference. And the teacher says, just because you're a guy doesn't mean you can't write with sensitivity. And I think this teaches Terry a very valuable lesson. Oh, yeah, Uncle Bill, this was definitely a part of my childhood as well. Oh, well, no, it's not patronistic, McGilla Gorilla. I might just call you Gorilla. Yes, a lot of people have told me that you're not the first, and I'm sure won't be the last. There are ways around it, but unfortunately, if I'm going to go the YouTube route, which, call me lazy, I I've tried to come up with other ways. People have told me a couple other ways that I could be able to stream the movie and show it. Yes, it would be copyright on YouTube, and YouTube would get me for it. In fact, they would probably shut down the whole daggone stream, um, because I have had streams shut down, and I wasn't even showing a whole movie. I was showing clips of music groups or something like that. And also, I didn't get a copyright strike or anything, but I can't monetize one of my videos now just because I use clips, and I'm talking just a few seconds of when a stranger calls just to spice up my one of my recent streams that I was doing. And I'm disappointed, but I'm going to leave it on there. It says it's not a copyright strike. It just, because I use those clips, somebody else is claiming copyright on them. They don't want me using them apparently in my videos and streams. Yeah, I mean it's not good. And Uncle Bill is right. They would get you for that. I have seen Mikkel Suave's stage fright, Justin. I have. Gorilla, you say I've seen your streams pop up a few times when I'm at work, so it's easy to pull this up. Well, I'm glad to see you in here. You say it sounds like they did you dirty. Is there any way to undo that in the future? I mean, there's probably no way to undo it on YouTube side. And I could have that most recent thing. I could appeal it, but chances are I'm not going to win out on that one. So, probably the answer to all that would be no. Batman, I think you're right, because there are certain people, and I'm not going to name names. It's not anybody in here, but there are some people that can do whatever the heck they want on their YouTube channel. And me and my husband Steve were having a discussion about this today, and we've had this discussion before. If it seems if you make a lot of moolah for YouTube, you can do anything that you want. You could probably go so far as to show a whole damn movie on here. You didn't hear me say that. But for us little guys and gals, um, we don't get the luxury of being able to do that. Batman says, unfortunately, she's not in the reaction club that they let others get away with. Gorilla, you say it generally seems to me like they just hashed it on you. I'm sorry to hear that happen to you. It's okay. It's just part of the game. It's just all one big game, and some people are players and some people are not. And I'm happy with the way I am and my status and in the land of YouTube. I'm not going to rock the boat or anything. I'm proud of the small successes that I have had, and I'm going to keep doing things as best I can, and hopefully I can give y'all links to the movie so that you can watch them on your own while we're doing watch-alongs. Yes, I am indeed having fun, Gorilla. I always have fun doing these. Even if nobody shows up, I have fun doing them. But it's nice to have a few people show up and hang out with you as you're doing, any stream, not just the watch-alongs, but any of the streams and videos, and in particular though the streams, because you're live and it's just more fun to have people either in the chat or live on the stream with you or whatever. And we're seeing a little bit of male nudity here, folks. Keep in mind this was directed by a woman, so she's a equal opportunity director apparently. I don't know how Sherpico could get all those different reptiles in the school even. Terry's look here is she's looking at Clayton Ronner's ass there. There's Sherilyn Fenn, folks. Big Sherilyn Fenn fans, big Twin Peaks fans. She wouldn't have been in Twin Peaks until a few years later after this film. I think Steve's got a thing for Sherilyn Fenn, or at least back in the day he did. Well, Batman, just don't plaster it all over the internet. Can be kind of discreet about it, and you should be okay. The lesson to be learned from that is that, I know people want to, if they're selling product, they want to be able to sell it and they want to be able to advertise. But unfortunately, when you're dealing with copyrighted material and images, you've got to be very, very careful. So Terry has struck up a friendship with Clayton Ronner's character in the film. So Terry's trying to be the typical friend, and we got prom coming up. You should be asking some chicks to try to get you a date. Daniel, this is indeed a comedy gem. I would have to agree with you there. Yes, Cobra Kai Johnny is the bully here. William Zabka made a career of playing bullies in films. Another one that I can remember him being a standout bully in is Back to School. Um, Apparently, he's a big James Brown fan. You're right, Daniel. Terry's about to learn how to be a man in a big way. Isn't that how all guys want to do the dishes? Just dump the food off of it and shake it a little bit over the trash and put it back. It kind of reminds me of Chevy Chase in National Lampoon's Vacation as Clark. He's helping Ellen do the dishes at the near the beginning of the film, and he basically just wipes them off and puts them back in the cabinet. And believe it or not, Steve's like that too. I said, Steve, I've seen him do it, and I take them right back out of there and make sure they get cleaned properly. He said, well, I just had a piece of bread laying on it or something. I said, Steve, there's gunk on it. Let's make sure it gets washed the proper way. It's funny seeing her dressed in that pink outfit and trying to talk like a guy. There's Deborah Goodrich. So Rick is not really wanting to, ask any girls out. He's very anxious about this. So Terry's telling him to go for it. And how many guys have felt like this? Truly, guys, back when you were in high school, I think almost every guy felt this way at some point or another when they wanted to ask a girl out. Unless you were just the most super confident guy on the face of the planet. But this scene is kind of funny because Terry wants Rick to say something about this chick's eyes. And he's like, no, 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 no. Terry, she's like, no, 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 no. Don't do it, because she's got sunglasses on. And then, no, he said it. You have beautiful eyes. So Rick's going to try again. And she's too busy to even go out with Rick tonight. So here's Cheryl and Finn as Sandy again. And Sandy apparently wants to go out with Terry. And she says, my cousin could go out with Rick and we could double date. And here is more of the greatest hits of Buddy here. Oh, and there he delivers a burn on Terry. At least my date's a member of the opposite sex. So we're going to find out that Sandy's cousin Jill is little more than a young girl, 6th grade. So, this would have to be very uncomfortable um, for a woman who, is not interested in a same sex relationship to um, have a girl come on to them and then pull the socks out of their pants, out of their crotch area. And Buddy is trying to get some action with Linda here, his study date. And unfortunately, Kevin is there looking for Terry, who is nowhere to be seen. And now Terry's back and she sees that Kevin is there. He said Terry moved to Oregon to join a religious cult she saw in 60 Minutes. And Kevin is very upset that Terry has cut her hair. But Joyce Heiser's not the type of woman that looks bad with short hair or long hair. So unfortunately, Buddy's gonna get turned down once again. Buddy asked her if she got laid. Apparently, their parents don't believe anything that Buddy's saying. And he says, yeah, Mom thought I was kidding. So Terry's telling Rick that there's absolutely nothing wrong with you except the way you dress. So Terry, having the money that she has, is going to take Rick out shopping. And she's actually playing a girl named Deborah in this film. And also, she's the main squeeze of William Zabka's character, which is not good. I like that line. She says, down deep, he's insecure. And Terry's like, well, up front, he's an asshole. Which is what I would have liked to have said about a lot of people in my past. People will say so and so's a nice person or whatever. And it's like, maybe to you, but not to me. I didn't notice that before, but Greg, uh, I think he had some milk on it. He had a milk mustache. Yeah, there he wiped it off now. So funny. See the school bully having a milk mustache. Oh. See, Rick got that nice new outfit. Mm. But Deborah saw this. Deborah's not going to be happy with Greg. So this is kind of a odd scene of Terry tucking Rick's hair behind his ear and telling him how nice he looks, which is not normally what a guy says to another guy unless one of the guys doesn't like girls. I'll just say it that way. Um, and so that's what Rick's going to come to believe, that Terry is gay. And I hope saying that does not get me in trouble, because I have no problem with people that are gay. I have friends that are. So now Buddy is showing up at the new high school that Terry's going to. There's a Hellraiser game coming out, Batman. That sounds pretty cool. Have you seen any like screenshots or anything from it? But gang, I'm gonna have to take my regular bathroom break that I usually have to take during these. And I hate to do it, but if I don't have anybody else to carry on the conversation while I'm gone, it happens from time to time. So I'm going to take myself out of the stream temporarily and I'll be right back, folks. Oh, cool. You say there's a trailer out for I'm gonna have to check that out. And you say Doug Bradley reprises his role as Pinhead. Awesome. So Rick is gonna go to the prom with Deborah, and he says he's not gonna go unless Terry goes. So Terry's gonna ask her best friend to be her date for the prom.
Tell me again why I am doing this. Oh, I forgot. It's because you made me.
We had another appearance from Jallo Steve, who's complaining that I'm making him watch this movie. So Terry's trying to deny that she has feelings for Rick when, as watchers of the film, we all know she has feelings for Rick. Well, that's a burn. Also, Sandy's showing up again, and she's expecting to meet the male version of Terry. And Terry's like, oh shit. So Sandy has brought Terry some kissing fish. Anybody ever had any kissing fish? I haven't. Holy cow. I don't think I'd feed those fish pizza. So Terry's desperate and she says, "There's a half naked woman in your room feeding fish." And he's like, "Is she really half naked?" So this is where you know this guy's a douchebag boyfriend. When he's, telling her, once upon a time I knew this girl named Terry and she wore nice clothes and makeup and she's beginning to feel like just her looks was the only reason that Kevin was going out with her. Hi, Christina. I'm doing good too, Christina. I'm glad that you're doing well. So apparently, Buddy's happy that, Kevin is going to be out of the picture now. I wish I could have had a prom like this, outside in a nice area. Justin, you guys, did I comment on House on Sorority Row yet? I was thinking that I did a watch along on that, or I talked about it as well, but I'm not sure when exactly that was, Justin. I always liked the music in this movie. Apparently, the lead singer of this band is giving Terry's best friend the eye. Yes, I did something on the burning. Yes. So apparently, Greg doesn't want to let go of Deborah. I would say he is Batman. The band member is older. Oh, well, thank you, Christina, for saying you love my channel. I appreciate that. And Kevin's not ready to let Terry go either. Um, Class reunion massacre. I want to say no about that one, Justin. So Rick can't figure out why Terry just said that. They now that I think about it, they make a nice couple. So Greg is not happy. I have not seen that yet, Batman Bloody Bloody Bible Camp. Um, Steve has apparently, and I think he has it on the on the hard drive somewhere. So Kevin wants to know what she's doing there in a tuxedo. And so Rick's like, I'm just a friend. Um, he wanted to know who Kevin was, and he's like, I'm Terry's boyfriend. So this is getting all messed up here. So now Rick is confused because Terry says, I'm not gay. And she says, I'm a girl, I'm a woman. And he's like, yeah, right. And I'm Cyndi Lauper. Um, and so she's going to show Rick that she is indeed a woman. This is the only time you see actual boobs in the entire film, if I'm thinking correctly. He says, where do you get off having tits? I don't think I've seen that one, Phantom of Death, Justin. So Terry came out there and laid a kiss on Rick, and he's telling everybody it's okay, she has tits. You struck out too, Kevin, oh boy.
Ooh, sexy chick alert, Dana.
Yeah, that's the second time Jello Steve has made an appearance to talk about a sexy chick alert. And we can see that Terry is this is a very hard article for her to write because she thinks she's lost Rick forever. These guys are so shallow. And I think Terry has a better understanding for um, people that she didn't think about, in even a friendship way. I think and I think she may even say this in a way that the experience taught her a lot. And Mr. Raymaker tells her, I read your article in the Sun Tribune. He said it was real good. He said, I'm sorry I misjudged you. And she tells him, I wouldn't have this job if it wasn't for you. You forced me to fight for what I wanted. So they both learned a lot. And I think that is the ultimate goal of this film. It was not only to entertain us, but to hopefully make us realize things about ourselves as well. Because a lot of us did watch this in our younger years. So we're in the final few minutes of just one of the guys. Doesn't really look like I have anybody in here right now, but that's okay. I do appreciate those of you that did show up, hung out in the chat with me. Those of you that maybe didn't feel comfortable talking in the chat or coming in live on the stream, but you were in here watching along, I do appreciate that as well. And for those of you that didn't get to join me live, the great thing about YouTube is it'll be on the replay. So I want to thank those of you in advance who will watch this on the replay. So Rick is back, and Terry did get the internship at the Sun Tribune for the summer. And Rick tells her, you know, you look good in a dress, very good. So Buddy finally had his, as he would put it, his first sexual experience, and now he's gonna be riding off into the sunset with a lady of leisure on this motorcycle here. And we have officially reached the end of just one of the guys. I hope you guys and gals that were able to join me enjoyed this. I enjoyed going back in time and watching this again, as I always do. I always love watching just one of the guys. There's never a bad time to watch it. And you know, if you need some cheering up, it definitely is a movie that will cheer you up. This is not one of those where it's going to be doom and gloom all the way. It ebbs and flows, but in the end, it ends up really good for everybody involved. And I will stay with you guys and gals in case anybody's got any questions or wants to bring anything up until the end of the credits. And then if nobody's, you know, discussing anything or brings anything up, I'll probably go ahead and get out of here for the night. It is just after 9 o'clock, you know, Eastern time, of course. Again, I did really enjoy going back and watching this again. As I said before, there are a lot of good songs in this. This is one that I would definitely like to have the soundtrack to. Shalimar did the song Just One of the Guys. Midnight Star did Girls Got Something, Boys Ain't Got at the beginning of the film. Berlin does a song in here. Ronnie Spector does Tonight You're Mine. Lindsey Buckingham does the song Trouble. And the band, the Prom Band, I believe is an actual band too. And at the time, the original soundtrack album was available on Elektra and Asylum Records. This was actually filmed in Arizona. And we have officially reached the end of just one of the guys. The credits have officially rolled. And since I kind of done my thinking spiel a little bit earlier, as always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Sunday night, folks. And let's make this a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. And I'll see everybody next time.